Good day, everyone. Welcome again for another series of webinar from the School of Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience, and Nursing. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Also, share these videos. In today's webinar, we are going to discuss about vaccination. Before that, let me introduce Dr. Gomalata Devadas, an occupational safety and health doctor. Without further ado, let's hear it live from Dr. Goma.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Goma, and I'm going to talk about vaccination. What is the importance of vaccination? So let me introduce the history of vaccination, types of vaccination, and the conclusions will be there. Right. So vaccination is the biological preparation that improves the immunity to particular disease. So vaccine is a typical content agent of, for example, disease causing for microorganisms. So often made is a weakened and killed form of the microbes. So that's the vaccination. So and then it's also be stimulates the body's immune system, and it's recognized as a foreign barrier, and it keeps record of it. So the immune system will be easily recognized and destroyed any of these microorganism. It's less terms of vaccination is a derived from Valerian vaccine. It's a smallpox of the cow, and the term devised by Edward Jenner to denote the cowpox. The history of the vaccine. So in late 1760s, there's a person called Surgeon Edward Jenner. Is the common rural area is that is the dairy workers would never have been often fatal or distinct disease of small they have which is very mild effect in human. So in 1796, Jens took a pus from the hand of a milkmaid cowpox, and later on he stretched it on the arm of an 8 years old boy. So 6 weeks later, he inoculated the boy with the smallpox. Afterwards, observing that he did not catch smallpox. So this is how he invented on this vaccination, and has done studies on his in 1917 in 1798, and reported his vaccines was safe in children and adults. The second generation of vaccine was introduced in 1880s by Louis Pasteur, who developed vaccine for chicken, cholera, and anthrax. From the late 19th century, vaccine was considered matter of national prestige, and compulsory vaccines laws were passed. Okay, let's see how do vaccine work and to protect us. So many of you think vaccine to be continue on vaccination throughout our life, and there are many types of vaccines. So think about that. We're providing your own body immune system to reinforce and making us stronger and providing your to fight the doesn't belongs in our body. So it's like military for us in our body, the antibody. So the germs will enter our body. Is the immune system quickly makes the antibodies to kill all the invading germs. So how does the vaccine work? So you see the picture here. this is how the vaccine works. Vaccines reduce the risk of infection by working with the body of natural defense to the safely developed immune system to the disease. So once the vaccine is given, and then the weakened or killed form of the disease is injected into the body, the body creates the antibody to fight the germs. These are the antibody, these are the germs. So when it fight, here the natural killer of the disease normally over the attack the body. So this is the attacked germs, and this is our own antibodies. So we have types of vaccines. So we have live attenuated vaccines, inactivated vaccines, subunit vaccines, toxoid vaccines, conjunctal vaccine, and DNA vaccine, recombined vector vaccines, and new one is RNA vaccine. So what is live attenuated vaccines? It's content of vision living microbes, and it has been weakened in lab, so it can be used to cause a disease. So the natural infection in these vaccines are good teachers for the immune system. So example of these vaccines are against measles, mumps, and chickenpox. So inactivate vaccines is a scientist which provide inactivate vaccines killing the disease causing microbes with chemicals, heats, and radiation. Such vaccines are stable, safer than live vaccines. So because the dead microbes can be mutated back to their disease causing state. So example of these vaccines are actually a influenza, polio, hepatitis A, or rabies. Subunit vaccines. So in subunit vaccines, there are entire microbes, and subunit vaccines include antigens. So the best stimulate of immune system. So in some case, these vaccines usually affect a very specific parts of antigen and antibodies or T cells are recognized to and bind to. So sub vaccines contain essentially antigens and not only molecules but make up the microbes. So example is plug immunizations. So toxoid vaccines is for the bacteria, secret toxins, harmful chemicals, and toxic vaccines may be the answer. These vaccines are used for bacteria toxins in the main cause of illness. So scientists found these inactivated toxins, treating them formalin such as detoxified toxins. It's called a toxoid, and as it is safer for use in vaccines. For example, chlorothalus atrotoxin is used to vaccine for vaccinate dogs, and as the example, like they got bites of the reptiles bites. Number five, I can say about the conjugated vaccines. So it's a bacterium process outer coating and sugar molecule called as polysaccharides, as many harmful bacteria do. The researchers may try making this vaccine, and then polysaccharides coated discrete with the bacterium antigens. So immature immune systems of the infants and younger children can't be recognized or respond to them. So this type is Haemophilus influenza type B vaccines. And DNA vaccines. So DNA vaccines is still in the experimental stage. These vaccines are great promise, and several types of tested in humans. And DNA vaccines take immunization new technology levels. These vaccines dispense with both whole organism and its parts get right down to essential the microbes genetical materials. So example of this vaccine is influenza vaccine. And recombinant vector vaccines. Recombinant vector vaccines are experimental similar to DNA vaccines, but they are used an alternate virus and bacterium to introduce in microbes DNA to cells to the body. So vectors are refers to the virus or bacterium used as a carrier. So it's commonly is DPT. And the new one we can say is RNA vaccines, which you all is common and very popular among us as it's starting now in every. If you switch on your radios and medias, you can hear this RNA vaccine. So this RNA vaccine is based relatively quick and inexpensive to make, may be safer to use, could hurt for rapid control over the spreading of infection disease, which is include COVID-19. Unlikely a normal vaccine, RNA vaccines are worked introducing an mRNA sequence. So the molecule which is T tells cells what to build, which is coded with for the disease specific antigens of once produced within the body, and the antigens is recognized by the immune systems and preparing for the fights, the real things. So you got the types of vaccines now. I'm going to tell who needs to be vaccinated or who need to be immunized. Okay, so this thanks to the advancement of in medicine, which we are now 26 different diseases that can be prevented throughout immunizations. So each disease is different and is an individual age, lifestyle, and will affect the vulnerable they are to the particular disease. So find out which disease you or your loved ones are vulnerable to the older to order to get the right immunization. So for example, children's most vulnerable is in their first 2 years of life, which why we seems to receive the most immunization. Rest assured that doctors, experts have carefully designed the childhood immunization schedules, so known as the National Immunization Program, to ensure that the title of one receive the basic essential protection from 12 vaccines preventable disease. So adults is also need to be immunized. Protecting from some of our childhood vaccines may wear off over the time. We are vulnerable vaccine preventable disease due to our age, health condition, and where we are traveling to, or and our job requirements. For in young adults, uh, even their health is can be vulnerable, and some diseases are also common among young adults that certain states in United States of America required college students to get immunization against the disease like meningitis. So these are quite common in United States, but yeah, but we have in Malaysia. We also have the system for immunization for the college students as well, and we have the parents and child minders. Okay, this is to protect your body from the vaccine preventable disease is always priority. So, however, it's this is not limited to getting them immunized. Parents, grandparents, siblings, babysitter, and daycare provider all need to be fully immunized before they are allowed to care for their children. Elders above 65. Older adults generally have weaker immune system, so hence the vaccines preventable disease. One of the example is most common illness is elderly go through is pneumonia. Therefore, they need immunization with this pneumococcal vaccine. And still, there are many other vaccine preventable that elderly we are unable to. And travelers, those people who always travels, they need this vaccination as well. So the disease are endemic in certain parts of the world. This is why the specific vaccines are recommended. For example, yellow fever before they're visiting. There are some other countries like Africa, certain African countries, Muslims pilgrimage go to the Hajj are also advised to take certain vaccines. It's like meningococcal vaccines, and regardless of such regulation, it is also always good idea to be immunized when they are traveling. This is to prevent yourself from being infected overseas, and also bringing it home to your loved ones. So those with a health condition, if the person is suffer from chronic illness, for example, diabetes, liver disease, it may weaken their immunization. So their immune system will be weakened, and making more vulnerable to the vaccine preventable disease. So efficient of a vaccine may be even decreased with time. Therefore, it's highly recommend they get immunized as soon as possible. So, and the other common vaccination we give is especially those people who wants to go for the pilgrimage. It's like the Hajj vaccines. So going for Hajj or Umrah is one of the key preparation before performing Hajj or Umrah, getting the necessary vaccines. So large congregation of about 2 million Muslims in the Holy Land every year. The Saudi Arabia Ministry of Health keeps a close watch on health requirement to prevent the Holy Land teaching and hospital of infectious disease. So in that such manner, they have to advise or make it mandatory for them to get the vaccinated. So in some vaccines, some like meningococcal disease, to prevent that, it's compulsory for them to invest on these vaccines. So adult and children are above 2 years old arriving to Umrah or Haji pilgrimage, they are required to proceed the vaccine certificate of the equivalent vaccines against their IMD, so which has been issued not more than 3 years and no less than 10 days ago prior to their arrival in Saudi Arabia. And the vaccines is a choice of meningococcal congenital conjugated vaccines (MCV). So it is also can be administered to the children below 2 years to confer their immune memory and hereditary immunity. So here we have the schedule of the by the Ministry of Health in Malaysia. So as these are the vaccines we will be providing to our nation, as if a child born on the day of their birth, they immediately will be given a BCG. It is called Bacillus calmette-guerin. And then they will be given the first dose of hepatitis B. This is a compulsory. Any child born in Malaysia, they get the vaccinated. And also in the first month of the child, the second dose of hepatitis B will be given. On the second month of this child, it is the first dose of diphtheria, tetanus, erysipelas, DTaP, TAP, DTaP will be given, and hemophilia influenza HIP will be given, and inactivated polio virus will be given. These are also to prevent their disease, and also the second dose will be given, the same medication, same vaccination will be given in the third month of their life, and the fifth month of their life will be the third dose of the same medication, and the 6 month, that is the third dose of the hepatitis B will be given, and measles will be given only in Sabah. 10 months later, the first dose of Japanese encephalitis is given only for Sarawak babies. And at the age of 1 year or 12 months, the first dose of mumps, measles, rubella will be given again, and the second dose will be given in Japanese encephalitis only for Sarawak. And the 12th month, the first dose of mumps, measles, and rubella also is given for Peninsula and in Sabah, but the first dose will be given at 6 months for measles, except the mumps and rubella will be given at the 12 month interval. So at the age of 18th month, it means 1 year, 6 months old baby, they will get the fourth jab of their DPT, HIP, and IPV. So, and the third dose of their Japanese in Sarawakoli. And at the age of 4 years old, the fourth dose of the Japanese encephalitis will be given in Sarawakoli. At the age of 7, in the schools, they will be given a second chance of BCG if they not found the scar. So, and diphtheria, tetanus, DT booster, and the second dose of MMR will be given. And when they are in the first year of their secondary schools, it's 13 years old, they will be given HPV. So, human papillovirus with the 3 doses within the 6 months. And then the second dose will of 1 month after the first dose. And third dose will be 6 months after the first dose. And at the age of 15 years old, they will be given tetanus. So all these immunization schedules are from Ministry of Health in Malaysia. And this certain vaccination are given in the schools, public schools. So here we will see how we do the. Okay, before I move to the next one, I just like to say here, here is the importance of influenza vaccines. So influenza vaccines is very common in European countries. It's very popular, and also it can be said as a mandatory. But here in Malaysia, is a um, optional. So, but I personally would like to advise everyone to have this influenza vaccine to prevent from disease. And now we are going through so many other conditions and our pollutions and the weather all are almost against our immune systems. So therefore, as a prevent, I strongly encourage to have influenza vaccines. So when the immunization is not advisable, so when you are not entitled or eligible to have this immunization is before you or anyone in your family receive the vaccine, it is discussed with the medical history and pre-existing condition or allergic with your doctors. So you need to inform them what is your health condition about you or your loved ones. So and then the specific vaccines we can be excluded if it's necessary. So those who have experienced serious reaction to the previous dose of vaccines, or those who have pre-existing medical condition such as cancer, HIV, AIDS, diabetics, or heart and lung disease, or those who are receiving treatment for cancer, steroid therapy as weakness of the immune systems, or pregnant women in certain live vaccines are not recommended during pregnancy. And those who feel unwell on the day of vaccine, for example, suffering from fever or cold, or those who have any other issues or questions, talk to your doctors before you get immunized. So this is the conditions that you should ask or inform the doctors that your health about your health, so that uh, you will be get advised whether you need to be vaccinated on the day or in near future. So what are the additional vaccines we have here? I have told you earlier. I have showed the schedule of our health of ministries encouraged until the age of 15. Yeah, and then now we have additional vaccines. So it's like currently we have 6 vaccines to prevent that deadly to children's, like for example chickenpox, hepatitis A, influenza, meningococcal disease, pneumococcal disease, and retrovirus. So in chickenpox, I think all of us know it's a high contagious disease which is cause fever and blistering skin. So you have vaccine to prevent that, and you have the vaccine for hepatitis A, which is infection of the liver by the hepatitis A virus. And you have the influenza vaccine, same as for the adult, the elderly, and also for the children. So this is one of the viral infection of nose, throat, and lungs. So to prevent this, we get the influenza vaccines. Apart from that, we have the meningococcal disease, bacteria infection. So it is a lining of brain and spinal cord that can lead permanent disability, especially in kids. So to prevent that, we have also given the vaccination. And pneumococcal disease causes the viral variety of infection in the children below 2, like sinusitis, middle ear infection, or pneumonia, or meningitis. So this is also very common for the kids below age of 2. So they have to give this vaccine. And rotavirus vaccine is also cause of vomiting and severe diarrhea in babies. So this is also you can be given additionally. Okay. Why the dose of the government provide this addition? Why they don't provide this additional vaccine for free? So this is government is already providing extensive coverage with the national immunization program. So beyond that, it's up to us to maximize our children's protection. So it is for us to decide to add the vaccines as a small investment in their health and well-being. So you will be wonder where you can get the vaccines. So vaccines can be available in at all private hospitals, private clinics for a fees, and all over public clinics as well, all over the Malaysia. So you can get it done in anywhere nearby to your living place. So 8 reasons why adults need to be in a vaccine. So reason number 1 is most of adults die from vaccine prevented disease. So then there are motor traffic accidents. Okay, so unlikely children's adults in 100 times more likely from to die from VPs. And Adults who miss their childhood vaccines booster shots can be still suffer and spread certain childhood disease, example like chickenpox, whooping cough, or rubella. So you can catch the VPDs from sex, traveling, certain outdoor activities, food, drinking, and even working with animals. And aging increase your risk infection along with your severe symptom of complications. So you may have chronic disease such as diabetic, heart disease, and lung disease that inputs your higher risk of infections or disease complications. Number seven, you cannot develop effective immunity against the certain virus or bacteria are constantly changing. So more as soon as one of grower older. And the other one, number eight, is the disease that cannot be cured. It's better to prevent them with immunization. Right? So these are the reference I have taken with, and then now I would like to say thank you. And if there is any questions, you can ask now, and I leave the floor open. And meanwhile, I just like to inform you all that in MAHSA University, we have our polyclinic MAHSA where you all can come for these immunizations at any time without any appointment. You can walk in to uh, our clinic in MAHSA University.
Thank you, Dr. Goma, for the beautiful presentation about the vaccination. So now we are open for any questions. Please drop your question in the comment section down below, and we will address it in this webinar. Okay, if there's none, so I would like to thank Dr. Goma for these presentations. And if you guys have any inquiries regarding our program available in School of Medicine, please do visit our webpage at www.mahsa.edu.my. Also, don't forget to email us your details so that we can consult you regarding the available program. So thank you, Dr. Goma.
Thank you, Mr. Tan.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you for watching this.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.